Aloha kakahiaka. My name is Eric Kamanu. I am joined here this morning with the Representative Val Okimoto, who represents District 36, Mililani Mauka, Mililani, and Waipio Acres. How are you doing this morning, Rep?
Good morning, Eric. I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
A little nervous for my first and probably last live at the Legislature ever.
I don't think so. It's a start. It's a new beginning for you.
We'll see. So we had a busy floor session yesterday. Two bills that everybody seems to be wanting to talk about is minimum wage and the new early childhood education. Briefly, I know you had some reservations about the minimum wage bill yesterday. If you could expound a little bit on that, about what some of your reservations were.
Yeah, I wanted to just start off by saying that many times when you see the way I vote, just with reservations or no, I think the general outlook is I'm in opposition of the bill completely. And most times that's not the case. It's just parts of the bill or aspects of it that I feel need to be improved upon or I have questions on. So with the minimum wage bill, that was when I felt that, and I understood being, last session it had come across our floor, and I know that the majority had worked really hard on bringing the numbers down, while some in the majority on that side of the aisle, they had even wanted it higher. So I understand that a lot of work had been put into it, and I appreciate that. My concern was with regards to the protections to small business owners. So we actually, yesterday, I had a floor amendment proposed, and I'd hoped that it would have been considered or adopted, but it was heard on the floor. However, it was not accepted, and that's okay. I just wanted to let the small business owners know that I haven't forgotten them. That with our economy here, we want to make sure that we remember our local business owners. I think in the Star Advertiser today, it stated that 27%, or maybe more than 27% of bankruptcies for small businesses happened back. That was a record in the statistic in February. So we want to make sure that we offer those protections for our local businesses.
Right. That's great. Well, on the topic of reservations, you've been known to have the most with reservation votes in the House, and I was just wondering if you think it would save a little bit of time and energy if you just stood up for the entire floor session instead of sitting down and getting back up for every single.
I think that's how I get my cardio workout, doing that. But I think it's a fun joke, I think, on the House floor between even my majority colleagues and myself, that maybe it would just be beneficial for me to just stand the whole time. Maybe if the speaker would let me do that, I would just stand there the whole time and wait for my turn.
I think it's important that you have a lot of reservation votes because it shows that you actually care and you do have legitimate concerns about a lot of these bills. Another one of the bills that you had concerns on was the earlyhood child learning programs that they want to start implementing statewide. Could you go into?
Yes, and this is another bill. I think if you just look at my vote, you might misunderstand why I voted with reservations on this bill. Starting from in committee hearing, I'm a mom, and I've been on record. I'm a former teacher. I value education immensely. I even sent my two daughters, who are now in the public school system. I took them to early childhood programs. I sent them to preschool, and my issues were not with the intent of the bill. I think the intent of the bill is wonderful. My concerns were with the implementation of it, the quality of the education, and in speaking with, I went out because I like to have questions answered. So I sought the advice of Dr. Kishimoto, our superintendent of schools, and we were fortunate to have her come and visit our caucus, the minority caucus. And I'm always communicating with her because I want to know when we're voting on these bills, I want to understand the whole thing. I want to understand the concept of it, all the players involved. And I think my biggest concern after talking with her was that we don't have all of the parties involved as a part of the planning of this. And with such a big bill, there was a lot in this bill. With the DOE kind of being left or put to the side, I did have concerns with that. I also had questions about how we're going to handle the teachers, because we have such a high teacher shortage in Hawaii that if we're going to be shifting teachers from the school system down to early childhood education, how are we going to fill those pukas along the way?
So I just wanted to segue into something that I hear often, and I want to just get your thoughts about it. There are a lot of people who say you are the best dressed legislator in the House, and I wanted to know how you feel about those that discussion being thrown around, and how much thought you put into your outfits every day.
Wow.
I will say I've never seen more shoes in one office in my life.
Well, I think it's, coming to work, when I got elected into office, I really wanted to represent my constituents well, my district well. But I mean, fashion can be fun too. I don't see any problem with coming to work and trying to look presentable. I think there's key in understanding what looks good on you. And the shoes do make the outfit, I will say. I haven't heard those rumors. Maybe you hear more talk than I do around the Capitol.
I do also hear concerns about decision makings, and if any of those concerns might be validated, that I'm here today interviewing you. So we'll go ahead and see how that comes up later on.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I want to talk to you about, this is your second session here.
It is.
What are some of the biggest learning curves you've had to overcome or adjust to, or some of the lessons you've learned along the way?
I got elected in November 2018, and unlike some of my colleagues who also got elected, I actually never had experience working in the political realm. I didn't work for another office. I literally came from the community that I represent now. And so coming into here, wanting to do the best job that I can, it took a team to surround me. And I think the best thing I did was surround myself with the right people who I formed this team to help me make sure that I'm making the best decisions. They know where I stand on issues and are becoming aware of what's the issues of my district. And so that's something that I've fought hard to make sure that we have a voice. I think this year, I think I tell a lot of people, I just anticipate the crazy, because every day is a new day. This session is so different from last session, and I'm guessing that it'll always be like that with the ongoing issues that come across, our desks and our state has. I can never anticipate that every day will be the same, and it's a fun, exciting thing, but also it can be daunting at times to be able to answer all the issues and questions that come across us.
Right. I just have one last quick question. A lot of times we hear about all the hard work all the representatives are doing. Just briefly, how much does staff in your office play a role in how you make decisions or how you stay informed?
I mentioned the team that I've worked hard in forming, and I'll be honest, my staff is everything. I don't see staff to me as employees. They're family to me, and we spend so many hours together, both here at the Capitol as well as in the community. They're essential to me, and I think I see them. I can't speak for other offices, but in my office, my staff becomes my family. I rely on them a lot, and I turn to them. I also voice my opinion and get their advice, and I listen. So I think that's part of being a good leader, is you have to be able to listen and incorporate the ideas and coming to your final decision. But yeah, go staff.
Before we wrap up, what are some of the things happening in your district, real quick?
Okay, thank you for asking. Well, just this past week, we had Read Across America, which is a promotion on literacy. And as a teacher and a mom, I always promote literacy, so I was able to read in the schools. That was fun. Coming up, we are having a character counts fair at the end of, April 3rd, but also right before that, I'm planning a town hall meeting in Mililani, Malka, so I can reach out to the constituents in my area and get their feedback now that we're halfway through session. But it's always ongoing, there's always community events and things that I want to be aware of and involved in. So thanks for asking.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back next week on Tuesday.
What are you doing? We have to go. I'm gonna be late for work.
It's Tuesday morning. I gotta record live at the Legislature on Alelo. Senate and House leadership discussing what's happening at the state capitol.
So just watch it on the news tonight. Come on, let's go.
Hey, this is like getting the news before it's news. If only I could get this remote to work.
There. Can we go now?
No DVR? No problem. Watch Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. on Channel 49.